Okay, so in this lecture, we're going to incorporate all of the properties of CSS and HTML that we discussed through a very interesting mini project. So be ready, brace yourself for a very exciting project in which we'll build the homepage of a restaurant. Alright, so first of all, I'll create a folder with the name CSS project. Then I go to my VS Code and I open the folder. After that, I create an index file. I'll write index.html. Then I create a CSS file, so you can keep them in a folder. But now, as we're working on a mini project, we don't need to do that. So here I'll write style.css. Okay, I then create an image folder. As I need to upload some images to use on my website, I'll create my HTML code here. And if we want to give it a title to our website, we can do that by using the title tag. So here I'll write mini CSS project, I save it. I'll go here and create a section. I assign a class to it. Class equals hero img. Then I use the div tag and assign to it a class as well. Alright, so class equals hero wrapper. After that, I'll use the h1 tag and write I love food. I save it. Then I use the p tag and write lorem. Here, I use the form tag and take an input. And then I'll use the placeholder property. Okay, so after that, I'll use the button tag and use the submit button. I save it and check the result in the browser. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so now I go to my CSS file and use the universal selector. I'll reduce the margin and padding to 0. Then I'll write box sizing, border box. Our CSS file won't work because we haven't linked it with the HTML file. So to do that, I'll use the link tag and write the name of the folder. I'll save it and we check the results in the browser. And this is what it looks like. You can see that we have to go back and forth between the HTML and CSS file again and again. So I'll simply put them next to each other like this. Both files are now visible. Okay, so now I'll add some images in the image folder so that I can use them on my website. You can see that I've added some food images here. This is the first one, this is the second one, the third one, and this is the fourth one. Then I go here and select the class. I'll give it the background image, and then I select the URL of the image I want. I save it. Now we'll specify its width and height. Let's say width equals to 100%, height equals to 100 VH. I'll also set the background position to center and background size to cover. Let's save it and check the result in the browser. So this is what the image looks like. This is how we can add and design our background image. Sometimes our image can repeat. So for that we use the background repeat property. So here I'll write no repeat just in case. I'll save it and refresh the page and you can see the result. Now let's try something else. So I'll go to the Google Fonts website to choose a font family. Okay, so I'll choose the Roboto font and copy the import link from here. Then I'll go to VS Code and I paste the link right here. After that, I copy the font family and paste it here. I save it and I check the result on my website. So when I click here, you can see the font family is Times New Roman. Now I'll refresh it. And as you can see, the font family has now changed to Roboto. Okay, so now we'll see how we can design this text. Firstly, I'll go here and copy the hero wrapper class and paste it here. Okay, then I'll give this a color and position, let's say absolute. Now, this will only work if the parent's position is relative. So I'll save it. Then I write top 50%, height 50%. Here I'll use the transform property. I'll comment on this property now and you can see that there is a mistake. So let's check it in VS Code. And as you can see here, I took the height, so I remove it and write left 50%. If you don't use this property, the content cannot adjust properly. But when you use the value in a negative, you can see the document has adjusted automatically. So now let's adjust the font size. I'll select the class and use the h1 tag Right now I'm creating a mini project, but remember that whenever you're working on a bigger project, you have to assign a class to every element. I haven't assigned the class here because I'm working with some specific elements. Okay, so now I'll write font size 50 pixels, I save it, and you can see the results. Then I change the font weight to bold and text align to center. I save it, and you can see that it has shifted to the center. You can also change the color, so here I give it a red color. This doesn't look that good actually, so I'll change it. Now we'll adjust our paragraph. So first I'll need to select this class and write P. Then I change the text align to center and font size to 20 pixels. I save it, and you can see that it looks good now. Okay, I'll increase the font size a little bit, and here you go. Now you can see that the background is transparent. That's why the content is not that visible. So I changed the color to white again. Let's change the font weight to bold, and this is what it looks like. Okay, now I'll go here and assign a class with the name of form code. Then here I select the class and write display block. This will shift the button below the input. I'll write width 80% and margin 0 auto. I'll save it and I check the result. You can see that there is not much difference here. Alright, so let's now use some other properties. So I'll write margin left auto and margin right auto, and here you go. Then I use the break tag, save it, and you can see the result. Now we'll select the input and play around with some designs. So I'll change the width to 100%. I'll change margin left to 300 pixels and save it. And this is what it looks like. Now I'll copy all of this and paste it here. I then select the input. Then I write border radius 30 pixels and width 80%. Let's check the results. The width has quite increased, so I'll reduce it to 50%. I save it, and it looks fine now. Okay, now I increase the height to 50 pixels, then I reduce the margin to 250 pixels, and as you can see, it looks better. I copy this and paste it here again. I'll use the placeholder property here. Okay, then I'll write padding left 30 pixels, and as you can see, it looks perfect. Okay, I'll decrease the width to 50%, I save it, and you can see the result in front of you. Now you can see the distance here is very small, so I'll use margin top 50 pixels, and now it looks fine. After that, I'll go here and write outline none and border none. I'll save it, and you can see the border is invisible now. Okay, so now let's work on this button. I'll copy this and paste it here. I'll replace the input with a button, so then I'll specify the width and height. I'll save it, and you can see the results. Okay, now I write margin top 30 pixels and text align center. I'll check it, and you can see that it's not working. That it's not in the center. So I'll write margin top 30 pixels and margin left 180 pixels. Now I'll style this a little bit. I want to change the button's background color, so here I'll write background color aqua. I'll also change the font color. I save it, and you can see the results. Okay, now I'll write an outline none and border none. After that, I'll change the border radius to 30 pixels and transition to 0.5 seconds. I'll save it, and you can see the results. I'll increase the width to 200 pixels and reduce margin left to 130 pixels so that its position is equal to the input's position. Now I'll copy all these properties and paste them here. Then I'll use the hover effect and remove all of this. After that, I'll change the background color to transparent and I'll save it. I'll give a light color to it. Then I'll go to the browser, and as you can see, the color fades as we click on it. So it fades out as we click on it. Alright, so here I'll write border 2 pixels, solid black, and this looks perfect. So you can choose any color you want basically. Alright, so we've covered this section. Yeah, like we went over the mini project, we learned how to use different fonts, paragraphs, add the background image, and style the inputs. Let's move on to the next section now and see how we can use other properties. So, I've opened my VS Code. Here I'll create a new section and use a class with the name product. Then we'll add a div and assign it a class with the name of product list. Now I'll select images from the images folder and write the source here. After that, I'll use the h2 tag and assign it a class as well. I'll add some text here. Then I'll use a paragraph and write lorem in it, and I save it. Now I'll go to my browser and refresh it, and this is what it looks like. You can see the width and height of the image is inaccurate. So we'll go back and specify the dimensions. I'll write width equals 200 and height equals 300, and now the image looks fine. Now I want three such paragraphs here, so I'll copy and paste it and save it. I'll select the relevant images and save them. This is how all the images are being displayed now. Okay, we can display these images in various ways. Firstly, I'll use a comment. Then I'll select the product class and write width 80%, margin left auto, and margin right auto. I'll save it and check the result in the browser. Okay, so now we'll style the list items. First, I'll copy this and paste it here. Then I'll write float left, save it, and you can see the result. Now I'll write width as 33.33%, and you can see it. You can see it looks much better. So let's design this a little bit. You can change the position of these images to center, and you can see the images are a bit closer to each other. Okay, so for that, I'll go to the section and write margin top 50 pixels. I save it, and you can see that there is some distance between them now. Okay, so now I'll use the h1 tag and write product list and save it. Then I use the inline style and change the text align to center. I refresh the page and you can see the results. Okay, so now I want to adjust the margin, so I write here margin top 20 pixels and font size 60 pixels. I save it, and this is what it looks like. So we'll style this list a little bit. I'll select the product list and h1 here, then I change the text align to center, and yeah, so this is not working as I've used the wrong selector. So I'll use h2 instead. I save it, and you can see the text has shifted to the center. You can also do this by adjusting the margin. So I'll remove this. Now I want to tell you one more thing. You can see that I haven't used ID here, although we have learned about class, element, and ID in the previous lectures. And you can see here that I've used class and element, but why didn't I use ID? This is because I didn't feel the need to do so. So I didn't have the need to do so. Now pay attention. You see that I've used different sections here, and we can create multiple sections for our website. Basically, like you can have multiple sections that include head, footer, and whatnot. So for that, we use ID in the main parent tag, and we can only use it once as it's just used for identification purposes. Alright, so now I'll write ID instead of class here, and here I replace the dot by a hashtag because we're using ID and not a class. I then refresh it, and you can see that no changes have been made and everything is working in the same way. So the only issue is that it's preferable to use ID only once, as recommended by professional developers. However, we use multiple classes in the div. Alright, so the mini project is now completed. This is how we can design our website using CSS. We simply made a banner, designed it, and then used different list items with images. I hope that everything is super clear to you now. And we're reaching the end of our HTML and CSS course. I hope that everything was super clear to you. I hope that everything was straightforward, easy to grasp, and easy to understand and play around with. So now it's your turn to practice, to code, to build websites, and to try new stuff. You really have to practice if you want to go far on your web development journey. So if you want to go far in this exciting journey of web development, then I strongly recommend that you practice, practice, and practice. All right. So that's pretty much it for now. I wish you the best of luck and thank you so much for going through this course. Goodbye and see you soon, hopefully.